Here's what's cooking in Shail's Kitchen today. Stewed pork without the brown sugar. For our pork stew, we have to start off with prepping our pork. So we have two beautiful pork shoulder steaks right here. I have one lime that we're going to be squeezing all over the pork steaks, setting that for about 15 minutes and then rinse it under cool running water. And our main seasoning ingredients are going to be fresh ground garlic, some Worcestershire sauce, kosher salt, and coarse ground black pepper to taste. The next thing I'd like to show you is the ingredients we'll be using to make our stew sauce for the pork. So I've got a large can of whole peeled plum tomatoes, 100% natural. These are so great, especially when you can't find nice tomatoes or they're very expensive. We're going to use an onion sliced, some fresh herbs. I've got some thyme from the garden, some Trinidad parsley, and we'll also use some cilantro. I have about a cup of wine here. Sometimes it's nice to cook with wine. It gives it a very unique and delicious flavor. And we'll also be searing our pork steaks using some extra virgin olive oil and some sweet cream unsalted butter. And I will be listing all the ingredients in the description box below for you guys. As always, the first thing we need to do is to prep our steak, our pork steak, for seasoning, and we're going to do that by using the juice of one lime, a nice fresh lime, and squeeze it all over the top, the bottom, and give that a little rub and leave it for about 15 minutes and then rinse it under cold running water. I just finished seasoning my pork and I decided to cut the steaks into 4 equal portions. So 2 pieces have that nice bone-in piece. That one of those is going to be mine. And then the 2 other pieces are just the meat. So today I'm going to be doing more of a quick cook because I don't have time to marinate this overnight in the refrigerator. So in about half an hour we will set the pot up and get ready to cook. Before we sear our meat, I like to just scrape the garlic off of the meat because that way when it's searing in the hot pot it's not going to burn, because garlic, you know, when it gets burned it has a really bitter taste. So not to worry, because we're still going to use this garlic. We're going to use all the marinade with the garlic in it, but we're going to avoid burning the garlic and we'll still get all that great flavor. To sear our meat, we're going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And as soon as that butter melts, reduce your heat to medium hot. So the pot is nice and hot. I place the meat in the pot, in the hot oil and butter. And I'm going to let that sear about 3 minutes on this side. And then I'm going to flip it over and sear it for 2 to 3 minutes more on the other side. I just turned the meat and we're going to sear the other side of the pork for about 3 more minutes. The first thing we'll do now is to deglaze the pot using the wine. We're going to pour that wine into this. After letting this cook up for a couple minutes, you'll see you got a nice brown sauce. So, I mean, it almost looks like, you know, we did like a brown sugar thing and added some liquid and made a nice brown glaze. So now we're going to start adding our other ingredients. First, we're going to add the tomatoes. When you add the tomatoes, just take your spoon and break up the pieces, because these are whole plum tomatoes. So I do want to let the sauce get all that nice flavor. So let's not forget our nice marinade that we had our pork soaking in with all the nice seasonings. I'm going to add that to the pot now. So now we're going to add our onions and all those lovely fresh herbs. And give that a good stir. Oh my goodness. It smells, this aroma, it is so delicious. So this is our nice stew sauce that we're creating here, and in a couple minutes we're going to put that pork back in there and let it stew up. The sauce has been cooking up for a couple minutes and it looks really good, so I think it's time to put the pork back in. So take your pork and just nestle it into your sauce. And also, while the pork was resting on the side, we had some nice juices forming here, so we're just going to add that back to our pot. We're not going to waste anything. And I'm going to spoon the sauce over the pork. I'm smiling because this looks so good and it smells great. I hope it's looking good on you guys' end too. Right. And you know what? This is not going to take a long time to cook because we already seared it a few minutes on each side. And I actually tasted a little piece off the end. And it is, you know, almost cooked already. So it's just going to take a few more minutes. We're going to let this simmer in this nice stew sauce and then give it a try. I'm not going to be turning the pork anymore during the cooking process, so all I do periodically is just take my cooking spoon and just, you know, spoon that sauce all over the pork. Get it nice and coated in that stew juice. And you see, this is not your traditional browning with the sugar kind of stew, but you can get the same results just by using this technique. The pork has been cooking for about 20 minutes and I think it's cooked. So let me just check it with this knife. And it feels tender, like it's cooked. But of course, the proof will be in the pudding when you taste it and check it. But remember, these pieces of pork were quite thin too, so they are going to cook quickly. And if you have any excess fat, this is a good time to just skim it off. I like to use this little gravy spoon. Seems to do a good job. Just get into the little pockets where you think or you see there's any excess fat and just remove it before you serve. A nice garnish at the end with some cilantro leaves makes it look real pretty. Of course, the cook has to do some quality control, so let's cut a piece off of this end here. While I'm cutting it, it is super tender. Looks delicious. Just the way a stew should. Okay guys, that's a winner for sure.